Welcome to Digital Marketing for Contractors, a podcast for home improvement contractors to help you crush your lead goals and take your business to the next level. Join us each episode as we give you powerful insights and practical tips on the best digital marketing strategies to help you grow your home improvement business. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of Digital Marketing for Contractors. If you give us 30 minutes, our goal is to give you some tips to help you run your business better. And today we are super excited to have a special guest with us. Our guest is Erik Vargas from FollowUp CRM. Erik, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, and what do we need to know about FollowUp CRM?
Yeah, FollowUp CRM is a construction-focused CRM. And we were actually born out of a commercial roofing contractor in Fort Lauderdale called Best Roofing. And so I'm the co-founder of the company, and the founder of the company is a guy, my mentor, named Greg Wallach.
Okay.
And he founded Best Roofing and many other commercial roofing companies. And together we have designed and grown FollowUp CRM. Initially for his company and then for construction companies now all over the country.
Oh, that's fantastic. So is your focus primarily commercial?
Exactly. So our strength is commercial, but a lot of these construction companies out there might have a residential division.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of table stakes, to be honest. But what makes us different is that we were built with commercial in mind.
So that's a little bit different for us and a little bit different for our audience, but I love it and we can dig into it.
Yeah.
So we love a CRM.
Yeah, we love a CRM and we love the construction industry. Fat Cat, our listeners are mostly home improvement contractors, but a lot of them are roofers.
And they have residential.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are roofers and siding companies, and many of those companies have a commercial arm and
That's
a
right.
residential arm. So today's a little bit different since most of the time we're talking about
I love it.
strictly home improvement. But let's
Most of our customers, I'm going to say, probably 75% have a residential division, right? And so that's why, we're happy to have conversations with everybody.
Awesome. So with that in mind, you said it was born out of Best Roofing, and you kind of took what you guys knew about what you were doing, turned that into a CRM. What makes you different from some of the other CRMs in the marketplace? Like, what was the impetus? I mean, I'm assuming you had one already, and you must have thought, this sucks, we can do better. Like, tell us that story.
Yeah, so a couple of different reasons. So you would be surprised how many contractors also think they're software developers. It's really funny. Everybody has their way they want to do something, right? And that's really kind of the art behind it, right? So Greg, back in the day, this was now 12 years ago, he actually went to a Salesforce conference.
Okay.
And there was one in Miami at the time, and he checked it out. He's like, I know I need a CRM. This is the number one out there, so I'm going to go and learn. And so that's what he did.
Okay.
And then from there, he said, this is really great if you're purely residential or purely like selling widgets, but it's not great if you're selling roofs. And so part of the reason why is just the complexity of Salesforce. You sign up for Salesforce and you're just overwhelmed on everything that you can do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how FollowUp CRM started. Actually, it was originally called BidLog. Because
BID log. Okay.
Because as a commercial
log.
Contractor, you're probably bidding on all kinds of
Okay. I love
RFPs and maybe government contracts. So
Okay.
you got to keep up with the bids. I get it.
And it's funny, before I came along, if I was a part of that original decision to change it, I would have kept the name because I think that name is great.
Mhm.
And so BidLog is a great name for a company, but FollowUp CRM, we got our name because that was the primary issue that he was trying to solve at his company, was the lack of follow-up on the opportunities.
Definitely.
Right. So, whenever there's a storm or something's going on, like people would call in and generating leads, like everyone thinks leads is the problem. But if you just called the leads from last month, you would be surprised how many people are still looking for the right service. So
Oh, you are preaching to the choir now.
And I guess that's on the commercial side of things too. Like, I mean, we definitely hear that on the residential side, but it sounds like commercial, that's the same case.
Yeah. So I guess two stories. Number one, my personal experience. I had a leak 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is my perfect chance to see how my local residential roofers are following up with me, right? And so that's exactly what I did. I reached out to 4 roofers in my area. All of them came by, spent the time to give me a quote, to walk on the roof, et cetera, et cetera. Guess how many followed up out of 4?
1,
3,
0.
0.
Wow.
0.
What,
0
because of the
did.
leak?
With a leak.
What?
And this was a $3,000 quote, and 0 of them followed up with me. And I was just like, so I called the sales process like the dating process, right?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
And so if you're misbehaving in the dating process, the marriage doesn't get any better. So that's why I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going with any of these guys, right?
Sure.
And so that's the problem. Yeah. Yeah.
Not big enough. That's crazy. So, okay.
Possibly.
So what makes follow-up different from I mean, you named Salesforce. That's the biggest. I mean,
we come across like AccuLinks, I
Right.
think is big in residential roofing. I honestly don't know if
Mhm.
AccuLinks positions itself to commercial contractors. You would know better.
No, yeah,
But-
no, they don't. So AccuLinks is a great company. So we
Mhm.
we used to compete with them a lot.
Okay.
But they're great, especially if you're like they're the end-to-end solution for like a small residential roofing company, right? And so I would say if you're probably $15 million residential roofing company and below, you're gonna want AccuLinks, and it's great. So they'll help you do like the aerial. They'll help you order materials, and so that's what I mean by end to end, from initial lead all the way to production is what AccuLinks does, right? And that's not what we do. We are the revenue system for a company, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, actually, some of our customers, funny enough, will use FollowUp because they have a commercial division and a metal division and a siding division. They'll
Right.
use FollowUp to track all their leads, bids, and customers, and then they'll use AccuLinks for the production side. So we have customers doing that because they're really good at what they do, and why change something if it's working?
So if we go back to that original name, what was it?
Log.
Bid log. That's where you are
That
in the
makes sense.
process. If it's
Yep.
on the commercial side and you're one of 3 big contractors bidding on, say, a hospital roof, then that's where FollowUp CRM is going to track where you are in that bid process. But then once you win the job, depending on how you organize your business, the installation and management of that job may go into another piece of software.
Yeah, so we say we're from the initial contact of the customer to the contract. So signing the deal, from that, the whole sales process. That's contact to contract. That's where we live, and we're going deep in that area, and going to be the best CRM in the industry for that.
So right on your homepage, you call out a few integrations like Foundation, Sage, Viewpoint, Computer Ease. Talk to us about why it was important to highlight those right there on the homepage.
Yeah. So basically, that's where our best customers come from. So they're already using these platforms, and we are the CRM that plugs into these platforms. So a lot of those, might be residential or commercial companies, but we're targeting more kind of like mid-market construction companies.
Okay, great. So they plug right in. So what other integrations? I mean,
we have ton. We have like 20 integrations. Company Cam, one you might be familiar with. Love those guys over there. Really nice integration. You take pictures on your Company Cam, they automatically load into your proposal at FollowUp. So that's pretty neat. We have a great Outlook integration. I think it's the best in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so it automatically can read your email and start to enter your lead information for you into the system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it could take a document from your email,
Yeah.
and then save it into the project file for you.
Okay.
So you don't have to save it, drag it, and drop it,
Right,
upload
right.
it, all that. So a lot of, so many integrations. That's like half of the product roadmap is integrating, follow up into the systems that are already out there.
Right. Because
Definitely.
otherwise you're putting the work back on your users to manually copy and paste from
Mhm.
one system to the other, and nobody likes
That's
to do that.
fantastic.
So
Yep.
let's talk like who is describe to us your sweet spot. Like where do you feel like you shine? What does that customer look like? What kind of pains do they have in their business? What does the onboarding process look like?
Yeah. So our sweet spot, we call it like pipeline management.
Okay.
That is what I mean. I got a call from a customer a week ago. He's like, I just wanted to call you because I am now asking the owner of the company, of my construction company, for equity in his company because I've turned our company from not knowing what we're going to close this month to be able to predict revenue in the future for the next 6 months. And so now he is able to kind of, I don't know how many X the value of his
Right.
company because he implemented this system in place, right? And so pipeline management, business development, winning the contract, that's our sweet spot.
Oh, that's great.
So you created an amazing success story, but a big old question mark for the principal owner.
Exactly. Well,
Ruh-roh.
it was a great time because actually, the guy's looking to retire sometime soon, and
That's fantastic.
yeah. So, it builds confidence, when actually we're seeing that a lot in the industry where, dad ran the company for 30 years this way and has all the relationships in his head, and, kids are trying to take over. And so they're implementing software for the first time.
That's
So you're
awesome.
actually working with companies that have never really had a CRM, and you're helping them implement it for the first time.
Yeah. That's actually ideal for us, replacing something that's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But most of our customers come from paper or spreadsheets.
Huh. So I'm always kind of fascinated with our client base. I don't know if it's like a shiny object syndrome, but I'm always surprised
I know what you're going to say.
when there's a company that's up and running and they've got a CRM in place, and then out of the blue, they switch to another one. And to me, that is such a gigantic data migration challenge, and years of notes and past estimates and closing ratio reports. And they're like,
So-
nope, I'm switching CRMs.
We'll actually disqualify some customers that are on CRMs already.
Oh,
It's a red flag for us because
I love
we've been through the story too many times. It is too painful to change, and the benefit. So CRMs, the way I say it is, 80% of CRMs do all the same thing.
They do a
Right.
lot, but they're just the buttons in a different place.
The UI might be different, it might have one or two additional features, but really the problem is people think software fixes problems. It exposes problems, right? And so what you're describing here is not a software problem, it's a people problem.
Right.
So
shiny object.
yeah, totally. And let's say you're rolling out a CRM to 10 people. Someone who's not sophisticated would think, finally, now my sales team will sell more things, right? The reality is you're going to see the actual performance of those 10 people, and you're going to see, your top performer, and then you're going to see your bottom performers. And then as a good manager, then you can decide what actions to take
Right.
to fix, the bottom performers or the top performers, and, promote them and stuff like that. It exposes what's there already.
So if you're most often taking businesses that are up and running and successful, but they've never really had a pipeline management solution in place, and you're onboarding them for the first time. Walk us through some of the things that you do to help with that onboarding.
Yeah, so I actually think this is the most important part of the process. So we have a kind of white glove onboarding experience. I think we're designing it to be the best in the industry, to be honest, because here's what we know. If you onboard correctly within the first 3 months, then you're going to be with FollowUp forever. And so you have a dedicated person, at least with FollowUp, to answer all your questions, because most software companies, if you spin up a software, it's a free trial. And that's why we don't do free trials, because you'll get a blank system and people will say, good luck.
Right.
And you're like, oh, what do I do now? And so the nice thing about our onboarding specialists is that they've onboarded companies like yours before. And most people want a template to copy. And that's what our onboarding specialists kind of provide, right? And then you tweak 20% of it to your company, right? And so it's a lot of best practices, right? And will help you avoid the pitfalls that you come across when you're managing change at your company.
Absolutely. So I was going to say, I mean, so there's no free trial. Makes perfect sense. How does billing work?
Well, we do a little bit of a free trial. We do like a guided free trial, right? So it's like, yeah, so you can so the way our process works is you request a demo and you kind of look at the system with somebody, and then somebody says, okay, can I click around in there? And so we say, sure, 7-day free trial. But we don't give you the keys and say good luck. We actually do the first 2 meetings with you for free, to get you in there. And so we, make sure your logo's in there, your drop downs are in there so that you can track what you want to track, and, do a couple of calls for free. So that's what we do as a free trial.
Perfection. And the demo.
And then back to that onboarding, I'm just trying to picture like a company that's, I guess they're using whiteboards and notebooks and file cabinets.
A lot of notebooks.
Yeah.
What is your thought on just picking a day and saying moving forward it's all digital, or do you make some sort of effort to bring history in? And if you are bringing history in, what does that look like?
Yeah, so this is the biggest obstacle people face when starting a CRM, right? Like it really depends on the data quality that you have. Garbage in, garbage out. Can't fix that, right? So we do have a data import tool that if you have something nice and clean in a spreadsheet, we can get in there very quickly. And so, our best companies are probably managing some things on Google Sheets or something like that.
Right.
And so we can get you started with the past month's worth of your data, as long as you're managing it well. Yeah, we can get all your leads in there and all of that. But we have other companies that say, we have 10, 15 years worth of data in FileMaker,
right,
or CRM that has been sitting there. And we're like, I understand that you want that, but why are you going to, input garbage that you're like, when was the last time you actually looked up the data in there? Oh, never. So why? Right. So just helping people through that process. I know it's scary to feel like you delete the history, but just keep act open with one user, for $50, and then you can go there if you ever need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually thinking that like the data is still there.
Yeah.
In the old format.
Yeah.
Just log into the old format to look up that old customer.
Yeah, just have an official go live date across the company and say, hey, we're doing this thing on January 1st, and that's how we're moving forward.
So talk to us a little bit about your roadmap. I mean, if you're the co-founder and the developer, what are you excited about? What are some things that are in the next couple of quarters that you're going to be rolling out for users?
Yeah, we wouldn't be a software company if we didn't talk about AI, right?
So, I knew you were going to say that. Yes.
Yeah, we okay. So here's my real opinion about AI. little hot take. The construction industry might not be ready for it. So you'll laugh at, like, I laugh when somebody that's on paper is asking me AI questions, right? And I'm like, well, AI is trained off of your data, and
Right.
we can't read the data that is on paper.
It's in
So
the file cabinet.
right. So we need you to start with something, right? Just start with a CRM,
Right.
and then you're going to build the data repository for AI to actually be, productive for you.
Mhm.
So thankfully, if you've been on FollowUp for years, then you have that already, right? And so the thing that we're excited about, we're still figuring out the name, but we're essentially building out a sales assistant, a sales coordinator
Yep.
within the CRM. So at most of our construction companies, you have like your salespeople who are out there on the street, and then you have an equally sized staff of office salespeople, office administrative people
Right.
helping the salespeople out in the field, right?
Mm.
And so one of our companies, the sales guy is out there, doing in meetings all day, and then the admin is sending the follow-up emails,
Right.
or the quotes, and getting all that stuff prepared for the customer, for the sales guy. That is what we're building with AI.
That's
To
awesome.
streamline and make that process more simple.
Yeah. So then the sales guy can say, hey, send a follow-up email to customer XYZ. It'll write a preview of it, approve, send, you're done.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. So what are some of the challenges that you see in the industry right now? It's 2025, it's summer.
What a year.
This year's been pretty interesting.
Is it not
Um,
over yet?
What are you hearing from your clients in terms of some of the things that they're struggling with, some of the things that they're excited about? If we had been recording this a month ago, we would have been talking about tariffs. I don't know if we're talking about tariffs anymore.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. So like, what are when you get on the call, or you're going to trade shows, or you're talking to prospects, what are they excited about and what are they worried about?
Yeah. So the people that we're talking to, it's actually no different this year than it has been for the past, 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
And it's essentially, I know we need technology, but the people at my company are resistant to the change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put in whatever technology you want to insert, CRM, AI,
Right.
like whatever it is. It's people are resistant to change my company and don't want to learn something new. Which
So it's almost you don't really see a big difference with whatever the headline is in the news, that the underlying resistance to change
Hasn't
is
changed.
constant. It's constant.
yeah, it's the leadership issue.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of off topic, kind of on topic. I went for my 6-month dental cleaning yesterday. I've gone to the same dentist for 30 years, and I've had the same hygienist who, whatever, she gets on my nerves, but it's on me for not switching dentists. They've switched software, and you would have thought that aliens had invaded the planet and that she didn't know how to get up in the morning anymore. Like the deal that the entire office was making out of,
Oh yeah.
they had been on one dental office software and they moved to another one. And as a patient in the chair, and I'm looking over her shoulders, like, it looks a lot the same, So I hear what you're saying about resistance to change. And one of the things that she said yesterday was, I went into this industry, I became a dental hygienist because I didn't think I was going to have to, I'm going to do air quotes, learn the computer. And I think we hear a lot of the similar kind of, sentiments from inside of the construction industry,
Especially with the CRM. Yeah.
They're like, I don't know about this computer thing.
Yeah.
And so and that's in a lot of industries, to be honest. But time keeps on trucking forward, and
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and so somebody's gonna bite the bullet. It's just when.
Exactly.
And then who's going to be a part of the team, right? So that's why I call it a leadership issue, right?
Mhm.
So some of the best practices that we employ when rolling out a CRM and here's what I say, out of 10 people, you're going to have 2 naysayers, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how do you deal with that, right? And
And how
so,
do you deal with that?
so here's the number one hack. Tie compensation to the reporting in the system.
Love it.
That's it. That's it. Hey guys, your commission for this month is based off of this report, right?
Yep.
And therefore, all the things that need to happen in the CRM happen, on the 29th of the month, right?
Right.
And then your report is ready on the 30th, right?
Even if you've got, we'll just say Bob, the sales guy that's been there for 15 years, it's
Right.
always done it Bob's way. And he's like, where's my commission check? Then your answer is, well, I ran the report and Bob didn't put his information in.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
it fixes itself.
And he wants his check, so he's going to learn the software. That's just how it is. That's how it goes for now. Yeah.
Any other exciting, I guess, case studies, wins
Success
you want to share?
stories,
Yeah,
yeah.
success stories.
Oh yeah. There's so many. Like most of our customers see an ROI in the first month, which is crazy.
Good.
Because construction is all about relationships, right? And
100%.
we live in a very transactional world, right? And if one of those roofers would have followed up with me, they would have been a standout in my mind just because they followed up. Send a quick follow-up email, right? No one wants to put that little 10% extra effort. But here's a story that Greg told me about a $4 million opportunity that he won the Trump building in Miami.
Oh, wow.
And that bid was out there open for 3.5 years.
Wow.
So a long time it was in the pipeline, and big jobs like that, sometimes they take that long to make a decision.
Yeah.
And so guess what happened the first year? Greg asked the property manager, hey, why did you guys choose us at the end of the day?
Right.
And he's like, well, the first year, out of the 20 bids we got, half of them followed up. The second year, half of those followed up. So now, we're down to 5, right? The third year, it was you alone following up with us. And so we knew that if you're conducting yourself, this way in the sales process, that you're going to do a good job with our roof. So
you're playing the long game. I love it.
Play the long game. Use follow-up to play the long game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that hard. You just create an automated sequence that says follow up with the customer, once a quarter, and you set it and forget it. That's it.
All through the CRM. Oh my gosh, that would solve a lot of problems.
Yes, it would.
I love it. How does somebody learn more about you, a listener?
Yeah, you just go to followupcrm.com. You could schedule a demo. You can look me up on LinkedIn. We're all over LinkedIn and YouTube. We love customers that, do their research before. We have tons of videos on YouTube of every nook and cranny of the system. And, sometimes we'll hop on a demo and they're like, yeah, I watched all your YouTube videos. I'm like, great, let's get the ball rolling. And so they're ready.
We totally agree. We love YouTube. And I know whenever we're vetting a software, YouTube is usually one of the first places we go. So
yeah, that's why we do everything video first, right? And so whenever we do a new feature, there's a video. Everything is a video for us, because then you could just make it into an article or something like that. But yeah, and people don't want to read; they want to listen and watch a video, and so that's why we do it that way.
Okay, so listeners, if you are interested, you can go to FollowUp CRM. You can also search for FollowUp CRM on YouTube and see a bunch of different videos showing what the product looks like and how you can use it in your business.
New features.
So Erik, thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast. As always, if you give us 30 minutes, our goal is to try to give you some useful tips to help you run your home improvement or construction business better. Thanks again for listening to another episode, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, Erik.
Thank you, Erik.
Thanks for having me.
Digital marketing for contractors is created by Fat Cat Strategies. For more information, visit fatcatstrategies.com.